players. I see dice rolling. I see hands shuffling. Let's see. It's Robert.
And I see the hottest hands in the game and one of the prettiest faces, Robert Serpe.
Robert Serpe. Robert, he gave you a thumbs up
He
right on
just
cue
gave
there,
me
as
a
if he,
thumbs up, yeah.
heard you, Robert.
We are telekinetically linked somewhat, for those that don't know. For those that didn't tune into Texas and see me just gush all over Rob, we've shared Airbnbs and such so many times throughout the years now, and we've only just met from Disney Lorcana, from him absolutely dumpstering me on the Star City Games tour.
Oh, there
he
you go.
was my kryptonite. If not for him, I would have won a lot more tournaments.
Yeah, I got beaten so bad, Chase Dick right out of playing floor into the caster booth.
Yes.
And here we go. So thanks, Robert, for that. Robert, I believe, also the second place finisher at PPG in Dallas.
Yeah, which I'm so glad that we could get him on here because, again, this is one of the reasons to come to only altering one. That's great for him. This is one of the reasons to come to all of the PPG events. Also, if you don't know Robert, he will stare into my soul specifically. This is the one time that I'm sitting on the right side and he's coming from the left, so he's looking right at me. It always works out that way. I've been on the left side for 2 days straight, but now he's looking at me. But anyway, yeah, we like to carry these storylines over, and we like to showcase the players that are really being dedicated to the game and dedicated to PPG.
And Matthew, another player that I've seen around as well, though, various tournaments. I know his face, fantastic player as well. So really excited to see this match here. This is going to be a battle of a couple very, very good players. Rafiki and the Ink will start things out, followed by Hook, Forceful Duelist, that reprint that we remember all the way from set 1.
Yeah, and as long as your opponent's not running hyenas, strictly better than the Rafiki.
And a Raja and the Inkwell, followed by the original. This is the first time I've ever seen the old and the new face-to-face, black and white sleeves. There you can see them. And oh my goodness, it's a Timothy Q Mouse coming into play. This is the first time I've seen this played all day long.
Okay, it is actually specifically teched for the Blurple matchup. That is the main matchup that you want that for. But, I mean, if you need a 2-drop, you need a 2-drop.
That's true, and able to sneak ahead a little bit early. Not great to see a Calhoun and a Hook staring at you from the other side of the board, though. You'd like to be able to get a little bit of lore, and there we have an evasive character that Timothy Q Mouse would see, but not going to put it at risk there with those high-strength characters on the other side of the board. Back over to Matthew for his response.
Right, and I can see why Robert only altered one card. He had a handful of Uninkables and 2 strength of a Raging Fire, which is probably the best song in the game right now as far as core constructed goes.
And Matthew there, 2 lore off that giant Spectral Cobra coming into play there, discarding that dock. Probably an indication there's probably another one in hand. What's 1 dock in hand, not as good. Or 2 docks in hand, not as good as 1 dock.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get 2 lore out of that extra one.
And if the game goes long, yeah, it's really nice that you could filter the docks out. But in this mirror match, it's going to either be a lopsided battle or it's going to go extremely long, extremely attrition-y. And one way to break attrition is to draw more cards. So kind of unfortunate if the game does go long that he had to discard a dock this early. So playing a Tinkerbell.
My goodness, playing that beautiful Tinkerbell followed by that Strength of Raging Fire card that you highlighted is very important in this matchup. Actually, Frank Karsten called this the best card in Fabled, and I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. One of the best removal cards left in the game, being used to great effect here, banishing that strong giant Spectral Cobra. Now, dumped 4 characters on the board to do it. Didn't need 4, only needed 1, because the vanish ability there would take effect. But getting the full 4 out of it, just for good measure.
Right. I also love that Rob, we saw this at Texas as well. He's willing to just skip ink pretty early in the game when he doesn't have a reason to ink. I think people over ink quite often. So just a little pro tip out there.
Yeah, this fun Tinkerbell, all the way back from Azurite Sea. I haven't seen it see a ton of play. Really fun seeing it mixed in here. You can see kind of the game plan with that Timothy Q Mouse on turn 1, and perhaps if you're going aggressive, the Tinkerbell on turn 3. We are going to get rid of that Genie, though. Very well-statted character. And back over to Robert.
Yeah, Robert definitely wishing that he had to use the Captain Hook and the Calhoun and not having the Jafar effect. I just want to address real quick, no bubble match on the last round. People are allowed to decline, so we don't know exactly why certain people are here and certain people are not. But
yeah, and to be frank, it could be a bubble match. If enough, now most of those players probably split in, but if enough of those 21 players decided not to split, that leaves a lot of them vulnerable, a lot of losses vulnerable to being jumped by perhaps. So we have no idea why this match is being played out versus others, but it is possible this is a win and in. But it is a long shot, but it is possible.
Robert, this is something that throws a couple people off. Maybe people could see it at home. Robert telling his opponent, Matthew, what was going to happen the next couple of turns. He goes, well, if I question my Captain Hook, you're going to challenge with your Captain Hook, and then if you don't play something that's super scary, I can use my Timothy Mouse to challenge your Captain Hook. He will do that to people, and people will get a little freaked out about it, which is hilarious. And it's not a mind game tactic. He does the same thing in testing. Like, he just wants to make sure that he is really thinking out the
loud.
plays. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. The Dumbo. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry I'm so biased here. Chat, also huge Rob fans.
No. I'm a fan of good Lorcana.
Yeah.
So-
I love being the Bobby the Brain Heenan of the commentary team. So being punished, playing the second Captain Hook, drawing an Elsa this turn.
Yeah, and we're going to see questing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Robert up to 5 here. Matthew, though, managing to get some lore out of that Cobra and that Calhoun on the challenge. Did establish a Dumbo last turn, so we can use it here if we need a little bit extra cards.
Yeah, we also quested to 6 because the Timothy Mouse got that boost from having Tinkerbell, and
That's a good
Robert
point.
crossed the halfway point to 11.
The stretching looking so nonchalant over there.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Rob knows win, lose, or draw. He had a great time. He genuinely, more than anyone else I know, does not care how well he does, which is probably part of the success of why he does so well. He is just so happy to be here, happy to hang out with his friends. Wow, a strength happened to be used on a Captain Hook.
Well, there we go. I mean, the Captain Hook had to do it. Not enough to take out the Timothy Q Mouse, but the rest of the characters here doing cleanup, and all of a sudden that board
Robert
really low.
Inkable, and he set up to clear the board on the crackback.
Here we go. That Elsa in hand drew the Inkable, as you said, and we're going to see it banish that Dumbo there, take 3 damage in response, and let's see if that mouse goes in to finish the job.
Yeah, I would probably finish it off.
And there it is. So clearing the board here. It says, you clear my board, I'll clear yours. And now it'll go back over to Matthew for the response, sitting on 4 ink and a couple docks in hand. Unfortunately, that Inkable is a challenge, so I would love to draw into an Inkable card, play that white rose, and dump a dock. Didn't draw into the Inkable.
I would probably just play 2 docks there.
Yep, there it is.
So he plays 1, discards 1, finds
one
a
dock,
Pete.
finds the Pete, not just a body on the board at this point. Maybe shut down in action if you're lucky.
Keeps Timothy Mouse at bay.
Let's see.
A panic.
Oh, a panic coming into play here.
No longer keeps Timothy Mouse at bay.
Yep.
So a few options. You can move it from Tim Mouse to something, or you can move from Elsa to the Pete. That way the Timothy Mouse will get challenged by the Pete, but then the Pete will also be banished, except you gain 2 lore and your opponent didn't. So I'd say that's a good trade for you.
Yeah, there we go. Going up to 2 lore and forcing that trade. So this is actually a play that I've seen quite a bit back in set 1 when there wasn't much ability to heal or damage shenanigans. Firing the cannons, oftentimes used to this effect here, saying I'm just going to put 2 damage on your character. Now you can trade. It's a better trade for me. Yeah, same kind of mentality here as we shift that damage over. So back over to Matthew. Let's see what he can do. We do have the Elsa going to exert that panic.
Yeah,
very good draw.
The Pete can go into the panic, and then the Elsa and the Doc can go into the Timothy Mouse.
Let's see which way. That's exactly the line he chooses here, cleaning that up. Now thinking about, let's see, right into the mouse, as you called, Dick there. Going to put 1 damage counter on each one of those. So again, tit for tat here. Both players managing to keep the other at bay, sort of. But Robert, every turn, managing to tick a little bit higher. Draws into the Dumbo. What a fantastic top deck. Using the Elsa immediately to draw a card. Fantastic card off the top.
If he didn't draw the Dumbo, he's probably taking the Doc there so that Matthew can't do any Doc shenanigans. That's a great word. I can't say it too often. My boss will yell at me. But, Hypnotic Strength, does that do enough here? It does not.
And a Raja.
But the Hypnotic Strength is good for next turn.
There it is. Hypnotic Strength. That gives 2 into the Elsa. Draw a card first before the challenge. Robert reminding him.
Yeah, I really feel like, I mean, I know he can take out the Elsa, obviously.
There it is.
I don't know if he might have wanted to sandbag that a little bit so that he can take out the Dumbo.
Just leaves it up, though, for another turn. That's another lore he'd be giving or draw.
It's also so rough. Yeah, at 15.
But but now, yeah, forcing him to make decisions here. They might not
Hottest
want to make
hands
otherwise.
in the game.
Oh my goodness!
Hottest
Did
hands
he
in the
top deck the
game.
dock?
He drew the captain hook.
Oh, drew the
But
captain
he
hook,
was
but he had the dock.
fully
Oh my
exerted on
goodness!
ink
So
last time.
there it is. The captain hook being played the dock at the perfect time. Let's see. Drew into a giant spectral cobra, and the other card I can't. Is that another panic?
Cobra and Timothy Mouse, I believe.
There? Okay, so let's see the Dumbo. We'll
So-
see another card here. Draw.
Yeah, and then you just got Cobra.
Oh no,
on-
it's a quest. It's a quest up to 16. Nope,
Nope,
draw
he
and
gains a
lore.
lore,
Yep, there we
yeah.
go. Don't need to quest. Just draw a card. Get a lore.
Found
Take an ink.
another mouse. He could play the mouse. He's at 16. He has the Cobra. As long as 2 of his characters past the Dumbo are not removed, he's all good.
And here we go. Back over to Matthew. Let's see if we have a response here. Threatening game on board there. And that Timothy Q. Mouse, remember, does get that extra lore. So even if you take out the Dumbo, Robert's threatening to drop an evasive character and give that mouse a little extra lore. Matthew doesn't have it. It looks like we're going to scoop. The Inkwell leaving the board is always the first sign we're about to scoop, and they're always getting shuffled together. We're going to go on to game 2. Really fun match there. And Robert highlighting some cards, which I haven't seen played terribly much. Timothy Q. Mouse is one that I know has seen some Fringe play a little bit, but getting to see it here. But paired with that Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
The Tinkerbell is one that I don't think I've seen played at all in competitive Lorcana since it came out. Maybe it's been here or there.
Yeah, because it does have that cross ink shift capability, which people never see coming.
You're talking about Giant Fairy?
Yeah, you could always throw a Giant Fairy on it. And I'm telling you, so me and Rob, we worked on this deck, basically the same deck that he played in Texas. We worked on it. We worked on it all night one night, and then he won a Starsea games with it, where the whole idea was we're going to play the Amber Tinkerbell, the 1/4 that you basically be our guest, and then we're going to shift. We're going to shift the giant one because no one expects it.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
When you play a 3-drop 2/4 Tinkerbell, your opponent goes, okay, that's in your deck to be a shift target. When you play the other one, people don't even, it doesn't even clock in their brains because it's a different ink and you're just not used to it.
Yeah, so interesting note. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if you're expecting a lot of aggro or even in the mirror, teching in like one Tinkerbell Giant Fairy into this build wouldn't surprise me. That's a good point. I think one would be fun. I don't know that I'd maybe 2, but 1 certainly as a tech card for a surprise.
So Robert putting back a dock in the opening hand. There's 2 ways to go with dock, in my opinion. It's like basically keep 7, or if I'm keeping uninkables, I'm going to put the dock back. I can't risk drawing multiples when I am also going to be short on ink. And he's keeping Fire the Cannons and Calhoun, both cards absolutely phenomenal on the draw.
Yep.
Too many people, when they register their deck for a tournament, almost concede on the draw immediately. Like, you really need these catch-up mechanics, things like Challenger, things like removal that can remove a character that costs more than the ink you invested, or things that like Calhoun that can keep your opponent from questing when their game plan is, hey, I'm on the play, I'm going to come out blazing. And you go, nope, just kidding, Calhoun.
Well, let's see if he does come out blazing. We have the Diablo followed by the Palace Guard here, the 1/4 with Vanish. We'll see what Robert's response is. You highlighted Dick right there, the Forceful Duelist. Rafiki going into the Inkwell, Forceful Duelist coming out. Not enough to deal with the Palace Guard.
Right.
But
Robert knowing, okay, if that Palace Guard gains 1 lore, whatever, I'm going to play a Calhoun. It's never going to turn sideways again. I do not need to Fire the Cannons it. I'm going to save Fire the Cannons for something like a Cobra or a Raja.
Yeah, and a Calhoun coming out on Matthew's side of the board here, a card that you like to play on the draw as a catch mechanic threaten the board. But here it is on Matthew's side. Definitely not the most aggressive card you can play, but not terrible to establish here on turn 2.
So Matthew, considering the Palace Guard quest, wondering if Robert played Skater Mim. I'm sure that is the that or
Madam
of
Mim,
course,
tiny
Hypnotic
adversary.
Strength. Yeah. Oh, chat like Skater Mim.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm sure he was considering, all right, where do I get blown out? Is it really worth the 1 lore? I do have strength in my deck. I kind of want to have as many characters as possible at certain points.
Calhoun again here, not using all ink on turn 3, so not the best opening
Matt's
draw.
Bricked on uninkables.
Yeah,
for sure.
that seems to be the case. 2 uninkables played here. So yeah, I mean, definitely with those 2 Calhouns won't allow Robert to do much in the way of turning the corner and becoming the beatdown. But it does give
he hits an evasive.
That's true, but does give Robert here a bit of breathing room. Speaking of evasive, there's the Tinkerbell. That 1/3 with 2 lore coming in here will allow him to sneak out some lore. No evasive answer on Matthew's side right now. So it'll go back over to Matthew here to see what he has in response.
Okay,
I
I
do
see
see an
Matt.
evasive
Yeah.
character there.
I see what Matt's problem was as well. He didn't want to ink a strength, and he had 2 genies.
Well, luckily, I mean, we got to get those genies into play here. I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like so.
inking
Drawing the
Dumbo for
demo,
sure.
inking the demo. Here it comes. Playing it on turn 4, right when you want to play it in this deck. Getting an evasive character in play, you can pair that perhaps with a hypnotic strength or something next turn to deal with that fairy if it decides to try to sneak out some lore. Drawing into another fairy here on Robert's side of the board.
Yeah, Robert would have loved to draw another Fire the Cannons or Strength on the other side.
Strength on the other side.
I'm so sorry. I miss Friends on the other side
Strength
so
on the
badly.
other
I've done this 3 times today, especially in the
You've got
Amethyst decks.
strength
Yeah.
on the other side.
So Strength of a Raging Fire. I do that so often that people at locals imagine what Strength on the other side would be. We've come up that it draws 1 card and deals damage equal to the number of cards in your hand.
That's a nice dueling card there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that later. So in this mirror, we do see a mirror play here with the genie coming down on turn 4. Another evasive character. It looks like Robert may try to get the 2 lure out of that fairy.
Right.
But no, thinking about it.
He's considering,
And look at him. Right?
Yeah.
Dick, he's doing what you said. He's talking through the
Yep.
entire turn, maybe the next few turns, and passing it back over.
He's considering, how often do you have Elsa here? You played a Calhoun on 3. You inked a Dumbo. You would have inked an Elsa most likely instead of Dumbo. You probably don't have it. I'm not going to just sacrifice my Tinkerbell.
All right, choosing to preserve that there. And this is what you see sometimes in this meta. Players, this wider board state that we didn't see when cards like a wide removal like Be Prepared was around, cards like Madame Medusa. We do see another genie being established here. But this, to me, Dick, this is fun because you have so much variance here. You have so many tools in your toolbox in play here, and your options each turn become bigger and bigger, and forcing these players to think through a lot more complicated set of possibilities rather than just 1 or 2 cards they can play from hand. And here comes the Forceful Duelist in play, usually on turn 1, but we drew it here, get that on the board with extra ink. And look at this board going wider and wider.
And then
will
are
we
we gonna
see?
sing?
Oh, it's a
Yep.
Strength of a Raging Fire. Strength on the other side coming down here, taking out that genie. And the board's getting a little lopsided now, although Robert drawing into an Elsa there. And so we have some answers. But, oh, goodness gracious,
Yeah,
this is
he
fun.
really needed his genie to make it through that turn so that he could use Elsa and genie to take out the opponent's genie.
Well, he'll try to stick
Ooh.
one here, drawing into a Strength of a Raging Fire, one of the best cards in this
Yep,
matchup.
and we're gonna
Tinkerbell
do that on
immediately
a
singing it.
genie. Yep.
Getting rid of that genie. I'll strength. He says, "You strength my genie. I'll strength yours."
Yep.
Strength of Raging Fire.
Turnabout's fair play.
With all this force of a great typhoon coming down and sending that genie to the discard pile, and it's back over. So a little bit of removal tit for tat there. But to your point, Dick, now establishing that genie, that Elsa will be there to pair with it next turn if that genie survives this turn.
Yeah, and saving 4 cards in hand instead of inking. Matthew, did he really need that Captain Hook last turn? He could have played Captain Hook and Diablo this turn.
Well, let's see. We'll see what he chooses to do here.
Oh, it looks like he drew a Jafar, which will be able to use his genie to take out the Tinkerbell freely.
Let's just pause while Matthew thinks this through. But again, looking at the dichotomy of resources here, Robert, 4 cards in hand, Matthew with 2. That will come into play here unless Matthew can find a card here to recharge his hand in a bit. We do have that Jafar.
Yep,
You called
and
the
he
line
does what I
Jafar
said.
challenging into the Tinkerbell, taking 1 damage. And now, again, the board very lopsided in Matthew's favor. It looks like we're going to get at least one
gonna start-
quest.
Yeah, we're going to start
Let's
mixing things up in the middle.
Do it. I mean, plenty of board presence over there for the crackback if Robert chooses to respond to that Palace Guard. But in this game, that 1 lure can make all the difference. So squeezing out that lure here and there when you can makes sense. Oh, 2 Elsas over there.
Yeah, so he could ink play Elsa. He could fire the Cannon's Genie, challenge Genie. You could fire the Cannon's Jafar because you're spending 1 ink to remove something that costs 3. He has so many options.
So here's what he chooses to do instead. We get the Calhoun in play, and that Fire the Cannon's going to come down
he's
to
gonna
2
do the
damage to the
genie.
Genie, and we're going to challenge.
Yep.
There it is, removing that. That's a couple Genies gone now. That Genie will take 2.
And if I'm Robert at this point, I'm probably ignoring Palace Guard. We don't really, if we exert our Captain Hook and our Calhoun, then they use their Captain Hook to trade into our Calhoun.
That
our
Genie
Calhoun
does
hits
need
their
2
Captain
damage
Hook.
counters on it, I believe, Dick, unless I'm mistaken.
Yes.
Okay.
We absolutely do.
Yeah. So here, building up another wide board state here.
And I can see the confusion as well when you played a Fire the Cannons and exerted your character, where you're just like,
there we
oh,
go.
I strength.
Yep. So there we go. Yeah, production there going over, making sure we call the judge, get that rectified, because that can come into play. Sometimes it doesn't. Oftentimes it does. So 2 damage counters on that Genie. We are in a good spot, and it is Matthew's turn here. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of questing here, inviting the challenge back, wanting those characters to be vulnerable, but wanting to get that lore as well.
Yeah, and playing a Dumbo, which is going to really take the heat off the rest of your board because...
Have to answer it.
Yeah, we might just have to...
There it is, the Elsa coming down. Yeah. Probably going to answer that Dumbo. There it is. And Genie,
then we're
there's that combo.
Yeah, we're going to have to banish our own Genie. But again, does Matthew have 0 cards in hand? If so, you absolutely have to 2-for-1 yourself there.
There it is.
You have little to no choice.
Just really needs to draw into a docket. We do get that double challenge. Robert will get 2 lore. When Calhoun banishes that Palace Guard.
And 0 damage.
And 0 damage due to that resist. Oh, top decking into a hook. Oh, oof. Probably one of the worst you could have had in that scenario. So Calhoun here.
Yeah, and then the other hook is just going to go ahead and go in. And then we can even quest with Calhoun and Palace Guard here.
There it is. So doing a lot of cleanup here. Down to 0 cards, but doing some cleanup. Up to 8. Robert's 2. But Robert now with the resources... Dumbo in hand.
Oh, he drew a Bell.
Oh my goodness, and a Bell. We can slide damage over.
I don't know the deck list. I didn't want to sound silly. I wanted to be like, if we have Panic or Bell, that's going to be so good. He says, you know what? I don't even care. You're only at 8 lore. I'm going to start drawing cards. Like, I'm going to put more threats into play as well.
But immediately playing that Dumbo, drawing a card there, pass it back over, and that's really, as you pointed out, Dick, the person who draws the most cards in this mirror match usually wins the game. Rule number 1 of TCG's, more cards is better, and Matthew just hasn't been able to find much. He did find the Dumbo, but, you know, didn't stick around long. So drawing, no help there. So another couple lore. He will go up to 10. That's not nothing. But now that Bell, that Pain in play, that Elsa, Robert's got plenty he can do here.
Even this Captain Hook right now is going to stifle some questing from Calhoun's if he chooses to play it.
Let's see which way we choose to go. All sorts of options.
Yeah. Pain, probably just good enough because you only need to move 2 lore or 2 damage counters anyway, and then it frees you up some ink so that you can use your other abilities, your other cards in hand. Whereas he might choose the Bell because the Bell has 4, strength and toughness.
Plenty of options. But there it is. That Pain coming in, shifting 2 damage counters over. Going to remove that. That does leave the Dumbo. Well, there we go. Not going to challenge with that Dumbo. Just going to challenge with that Dumbo into the Palace Guard.
Just keep cleaning
things up. He sees
and then again,
the lack of cards.
Hook.
Oh, it's another hook. Forceful 2 list. Oh, all the hooks hanging together. What do you call a group of pirates? A crew. A crew of pirates there hanging out on the top of the deck. And it's back over to Robert. Just the cards letting Matthew down here. Back over to Robert.
Yeah, and Robert, again, now having 2 damage that he can move around.
And
he's going to move that 2 damage around.
That coming down. Resist does not care when you move damage counters onto it. And then a Palace Guard just for good measure.
Well, he's going to ink the Palace Guard so that he can draw a card and
drawing a card.
Gain a lore. And, obviously, I'm close friends with Robert. I'm rooting for him. I feel so bad for Matthew here.
One thing I always say, I love all players. I always root for a game 3.
Yeah.
But there we have the Dumbo. Again, you love it. I mean, he needs it at this point, but Robert, we know, has the answers. Matthew probably knows that he has the answers. We're going to see it really quickly here. That Elsa 5th Spirit most likely getting slammed down. There it is. Going to exert that Dumbo. Matthew doesn't even ask what you're exerting. And we're going to see the challenge to clean that up.
To challenge.
Oh, my goodness. And it's just, such a bummer here. 3 damage each, and Robert all the way up to 10, or Matthew all the way up to 10, but I think he's going to stall out here, drawing a card off the Dumbo. We're going to get a lore and just, everything hitting for Robert here, and Matthew just drawn into Pirates.
Yeah, it's rough. It is absolutely rough. I can't think of a single card that Matthew can draw.
And this, a little bit of help here. Hypnotic Strength, trade with Bell, draw a card. Do a little bit of cleanup. And Cobra is going to come down. Big old body, but not evasive. And back over to Robert. He'll have 4 lore worth of questers up, some cards in hand. We do see the Cobra there. Robert just taking his time, playing things smooth. Looking at the card first.
By the way, this always gets chat fired up. Play draw disparity. Haven't seen it that often.
There you go. just drop that and walk away. That's what you do. So drawing a card off the Genie here, drawing a card off the Elsa as well, and so just recharging his hand here. That Dumbo in full swing. Some games, every game Dumbo does not go off. Oftentimes he doesn't stick around,
especially if JDZ's casting.
Especially if JDZ's casting on Blurple. If you can play him off curve a little bit later and get a card or two out of him, he usually doesn't stick around long. But this Dumbo has stuck around a while and got quite a few cards. There's the handshake, just nothing doing against that wide board. And Matthew just knocked in the cards he needed. Robert's going to go to 20, and we'll see if this is enough to power him into the top 16 and maybe